Einstein said that knowledge will take you from A to B, but imagination will take you everywhere. Okay? Because all you have to do is use your imagination, provoke your imagination, stimulate your imagination, continue to work your imagination, and you can start to manifest the things that you want. Or let's say it another way, you can start to manifest your goals. Okay, attain your goals, achieve your goals. However you want to say it, it's the same thing. Okay, because look around you. Okay, look around you right now. Everything you have, everything you own, everything you do, all the friends you have, the kind of house you live in, the kind of car you drive, the kind of dog you have is all your manifestations. Okay, it's a product of what you were thinking. Okay, the kind of dog, right? You thought about what kind of, well, let's get a dog. What kind of dog? Well, I think I'll get a Pomeranian. Then you end up with a Pomeranian. Maybe you want a different kind of dog, whatever, but whatever you choose, but you choose it in your mind first. Okay, if you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand. Okay, I had to see this in my mind. First of all, I had to see myself worthy, right? Then I had to see myself doing this, right? And I was provoked into it. It just happened. So my process is I have to think about it, think about it, think about it, think about it. Okay. So the thought was, well, you should, people were telling me, you need to write a book about what happens in your school. You need to write a book about, these things that people are accomplishing because of this method. And I'm like, okay, because it wasn't related to singing. The book is called The Universal Law of Attraction in Singing. It's about the confidence that happened as a result of expression through the voice, and then how people change their lives. And people were like, no, you need to tell these stories. You need to write a book. So I thought about it over and over and over, like for a couple of years, right? And then I met this guy, and this guy was, he called himself a sales resultant. I thought that was pretty creative. He was a consultant, like me. Okay, I have a consultant firm. It's called VMAC Consultants. You can look it up. And so anyway, so he had this company, and he called himself a resultant, and then he wrote a book. Okay, I can't tell you the title of the book because it's a little risque. It's just a little edgy. It's a little, yeah. So we don't use, those kinds of words, let's say. But anyway, so I bought his book because I wanted to support him, and he worked out at the same gym that I worked out at. And he was an older gentleman, and he came from the States, and he moved to Hawaii. And so I said, well, I want to read his book, and I want to support him. So I bought the book. I downloaded it. I was reading the book, and then he said, in the first chapter, the opening part of the first chapter, he said he wrote the book on a 20-minute flight to Maui. And it was a book. Okay, and he didn't have AI. He typed it. Okay, so I thought, wow, this guy just pounded out a book, right? So I thought to myself, well, if he did that, I can sit down and apply myself until I finish my book. And it took me 2 sittings. The first sitting was 12 chapters, 12 of 15 chapters. And the second sitting, I finished it. And then there was a lot of learning curves after that. Okay, there were a lot of mistakes, including the cover, and I had to get it redone, and But anyway, but the point of this is imagination turns into whatever you're imagining. Okay, because your brain assimilates the data. Okay, when you imagine, the things that you imagine start processing in your brain. You start thinking about it. Okay, a belief is a thought you keep thinking. That goes into your subconscious. Now your subconscious, with that belief, will look for evidence of it or try to find avenues towards it. The superconscious, or God, will look at what you have in the subconscious, good or bad. So this is not a judgment thing. This is not like, oh, well, you have to be a good person to achieve things. No, you can be an evil person. Okay, I'm just saying, right? Evil people get rich, okay? Good people get rich. Good Samaritans get rich. Whatever, it doesn't matter. It's not about the kind of person you are. It's about the application that you do. It's about the way you do what you do. Okay? So now, right? Your brain will figure it out. It'll put the subconscious thought or subconscious belief in here. The superconscious works off whatever's in the subconscious and gives you intuitive thought for it. And pretty soon you go, oh, maybe I should do the book now. And I had inspired thought, and I listen to my inspired thought all the time. I have crazy, crazy, crazy ideas. And all of them are online. Go look. Just put my name in any browser. Okay? So all my ideas started happening, right? So the book was just another thing. It was one more thing. But I got to tell the stories. And we made it cheap. It's like $10 something, whatever, on Amazon. It's been selling since 2016. Okay, but the point is not to flex the book. The point is not to sell the book. I don't really advertise the book per se. Okay. If you're watching the live, you can get the book for free. I'll send you a PDF copy. Just message me anywhere. Give me your email. I'll send it to your email. Okay. It's not about money. It's about the knowledge. It's about the knowledge about how your voice can heal you. Heal you from what? Anxiety, guilt, fear, shame. It opens the prison. It unlocks the door to the prison. The prison is here. So let me give you an example. I'll tell you a story about the one lady that's in the book. Okay, she got married to this guy. He was a very wealthy man. 2 months into the marriage, they get in a boating accident. He dies in her arms in the water. It was very, very sad. She came to me like literally like this. She came to me like this. She was on medicines. I'm not going to get into details, but like this. Okay. In 9 months, she left solid, like this. Like this. Okay, solid. She was a business person. She had her own business. Okay. She managed to hang on to her business. Now her business started to pick up. Why? Because her frequency increased. Okay, so human frequency is emotion. Okay. Now, when you're like this, that's the condition of your emotions. The eyes are the mirrors of the soul. The voice is the mirror of the feelings and emotions. Her voice was shaky. But then she found her voice. What does that mean? Well, she developed her voice. And through this process, it's on the website if you want to see it here for you, lifecoaching.com, The Science of Confidence. And we listed all the white paper links. White papers are medical research links, so you can go read the science for yourself. So it's all there. We put it all on the website. But in 9 months, she got off her medication. She was well. She continued with her life, and she never looked back. All through her voice. Okay, because when you project strong tones through your voice, what happens is it triggers your neurotransmitters in your brain. That produces hormones, oxytocin and endorphins. Endorphins are the feel-good hormones, okay? Or in that case, you could say comforting hormones. Oxytocin is the bonding hormones. And repetitive cycles, we don't call them treatments, we're not making medical claims, okay? We can't do that. But cycles of these, in other words, you come once a week, right? She came for 9 months, so you come for once a week, an hour once a week. Miracles begin to happen within the human being. Because this is a miracle. The kingdom is within. Jesus Christ said the kingdom is within. It's not out here. The kingdom's not out here. The kingdom of heaven is not up in the sky. It's in you. And it's up to you. You want to make this a heaven, or you want to make this a living hell? Some people live in hell every day. They wake up to hell. They go to sleep to hell. They wake up in hell again. Or some people wake up in heaven, right? Everything's a blessing. They're grateful. Everything comes, everything with ease. Abundance happens. Do things go wrong? Of course they go wrong. Of course things go wrong. But when things go wrong, it's just like, oh boy, I gotta fix this. Okay, there's no knee-jerk reactions, that kind of thing. Okay, so let's talk about how the imagination, like how can you imagine things into physical form? It's very easy. Very, very easy. So Einstein said, education will get you from A to B, imagination will get you everywhere. There's a reason for that. Okay, because Einstein knew how to use his imagination. Nikola Tesla did as well. All the great inventors, great scientists, they all knew how to do it. Okay, good morning, you guys. Good morning, Jay. Good morning, Sarah. I'm just looking over here. Yeah, welcome, you guys. I'm just looking at my chat. So imagination, what's the process? First, you imagine, okay? Thoughts become things. Okay, imagine what it is that you want. A lot of people say, well, you know, I want this, I want that, I want this, I want that. But they don't take the time to really think it through, really imagine it through. Okay, can you imagine holding something in your hand? Maybe it's the keys to your new car. Maybe it's the hand of the woman or man that you love, or that you want to love, or that you want to come into your life. You know, I write down affirmations, okay, like, I am so happy and grateful now that I have met someone new. Thank you. And guess what? I meet people, okay? Women hit me up like it's crazy. It happens, okay? So you can write for anything. Relationship, company. You want somebody to go out with? Write it down. I am so happy and grateful now that I have someone to go out with. Thank you. It happens. How does that happen? Well, first you have to think it. Then you have to write it. Okay? Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization. When you write it, okay, write it in theta state early in the morning before you get out of bed. Just grab the tablet. I keep it on my bedside. Grab the tablet, write it. I am so happy and grateful, whatever you want, right? I'm just saying. Maybe you're stuck for an idea at work. I am so happy and grateful now that I have the solution to the procedure they're trying to put together at work. Whatever, okay? Okay, now you're gonna read it out loud just before you go to sleep when you're fully relaxed, when your brain is in theta state. This is the way I built my companies. This is the way I bring material things into my world. This is the way I bring people into my world. Now, I don't know who those people are going to be. So here's the thing about people. If you're writing this for a relationship, let's say, or let's say you want to go out with somebody. Let's say you work hard and you haven't met anybody and you want to meet somebody to go out with, okay? So you write down the affirmation. I am so happy and grateful now that I met a nice girl to go out with. Thank you. Okay, if you've met a girl, you know, let's say her name is, I don't know, Jill, okay? For lack of, I just pulled that out of the sky. Let's say her name is Jill, okay? And you can write an affirmation. I am so happy and grateful now that I am going out with Jill. Thank you. You can do that. I've done that. It's worked for me. But here's the thing. If Jill knows you, let's say Jill knows you. Let's say it's a coworker. Let's say it's, you know, I don't recommend going out with coworkers. That gets a little sticky. But I'm just saying maybe she's someone that you know, someone in your neighborhood. She knows of you. She knows who you are. You know who she is. And you write that affirmation. The only thing you have to remember is that everybody has free will, okay? So if she doesn't like you or is not attracted to you or doesn't want to go out with you, the affirmation is not going to work because you cannot violate another person's free will. However, if she thinks you're okay, whatever, it will start to attract her into your world. How does that happen? Well, it's not magic. It's not witchcraft. It's not like a spell. It's not like that. Okay? So here's the procedure, real quick. Mental simulation, okay? You have to think it, okay? So you think about Jill, you go, wow, yeah, I could see me and her on the beach. Yeah, I could see me and her at the movies. I could see whatever, okay? Mental simulation, imagination. You're imagining, okay? Focused attention, that's your RAS. Your reticular activating system in your brain will filter out everyone but Jill, and you'll start to focus on Jill, okay? That's what it does. That's what the reticular activating system does, okay? Neural priming, okay? That's what you're doing with your affirmation. You're forming neural pathways in your brain towards that result because Jill is the final result. I'm just saying, okay? Behavioral motivation. What begins to happen to your behavior? Well, you start performing actions conducive to you going out with Jill. Maybe you start waving to her, like maybe she lives 2 doors away. Now you start, hey, Jill, what's going on? Now you've called attention to yourself. Now you're being friendly with her, which tells her that you like her or you think she's cool at least, okay? And then what? Well, pattern recognition. Pattern recognition? Yeah. Okay. So your repetition develops pattern recognition. Okay. The things that you repeat. Okay. It starts to form a pattern. Okay. Your pattern is recognized by your subconscious. The subconscious learns in repetition and then it starts to repeat. Okay. So you start repeating the pattern. And the neural pathways are already formed. Okay, so now what else needs to happen? Well, emotional reinforcement. You need to be sincerely happy every time you see her. You need to be sincerely happy with the intent that you have. And what begins to happen? She begins to notice. Okay, women notice like that. Their spidey senses, okay, their intuition. Now, aligned actions. Your actions have to be in alignment with all of these things. And what happens? She begins to notice. And then you take action. Now, you can take action in 2 ways. Thought, okay, you can think it, or you can physically go and ask her out. Okay? Now, you can't do all of these things in the same day. That's crazy. That's crazy. You have to take your time because the universe, or God doesn't work like this. Okay? But you form your focal point, okay, which is Jill. That's the subject matter. Now, the superconscious or God in this category here, so there's conscious, subconscious, superconscious. The superconscious starts giving you intuitive thought on the subject, on that focal point that you have established, and you stick to that focal point. That means you don't think about any other female. You just think about Jill. And slowly the universe goes like this. Slowly it goes like this. So what is this really? It's perception in the brain. It's alignment within. In the kingdom, Jesus Christ said the kingdom is within. What is that alignment? It's the alignment between the conscious, subconscious, and superconscious. The superconscious gives you intuitive thought. And one day you might get that intuitive thought. Maybe you said hi a few days, maybe it's a couple of weeks later, you've gotten her number, you haven't gotten around to texting her yet, you haven't called her. And then the superconscious says, why don't you shoot her a text and ask her out? And then you ask her out. And then you don't get a text back for maybe 2 days, 3 days. I did that once with an email. I didn't get a response for 1 year. Do you think I was worried? No, I was going out with other people. But 1 year later, I got the email. And it was like, hey, I decided to take you up on, my offer, whatever. right? And then we went out and it was beautiful. It was like a beautiful 3 months. It was awesome. It was amazing. Okay? But you have to be open. We were talking about that yesterday, being open. Okay? Open. Okay, this is open-minded. This is open to the way it's going to come, because God does the how. The how is God's job. So how is this going to happen? How are you going to go out with her? You don't know how. You can imagine how. You can think about it. But God will do the how. Okay, I've got thousands of stories. I can tell you thousands of different ways it could happen, but it will happen for you your way, the way God makes it happen for you, and that will be your way. Okay, so all of those things, but alignment is important. The conscious, subconscious, superconscious. So the alignment is the conscious mind establishes the desire. I want to go out with Jill. Okay. The subconscious gets the belief. Okay, now the subconscious, because of the repetition and thought, your subconscious believes you want to go out with Jill. Now it's going to give you ways. Oh, maybe you should say hi to her. She doesn't know you exist. She's 2 doors down. Maybe you should just wave at her on the way home. Whatever. All of these thoughts. So this is how you physically bring something to be. It's not magic. You don't wave a magic wand and the girl shows up at your front door. It doesn't work that way. But it works for dates. It works for relationships. Okay? People always ask me, like, how do I get my ex back? And the first thing I say is, well, your ex is an ex for a reason, right? Okay. But yeah, there's a way to get your ex back. But you have to be in alignment. Okay? A lot of people ask me, like, okay, well, can I just, like, I want to find somebody to marry. I want to find somebody to go out with. So whatever. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's a relationship or a car. You want a car? How does it manifest? Well, first you think new car. Then the details go in your subconscious. I want a new car. So you have to be exact, okay? Because new car could be any car. Could be, electric car, truck, van, SUV, right? Be specific. I'm specific. More than specific, I create a vision board. I create a lock screen. Let me show you. Okay, I don't have that lock screen on my phone right now. I just ordered the car, so it's already on order, but I'm working on other things. So here's the lock screen that I use. Okay, because I have a blue one. So now I'm working on the silver one. So I made the lock screen. So every time that I pick up my phone, every time my phone wakes up, I see the silver one. Okay, so what does that do? Does that make magic? No. It keeps reestablishing in your subconscious that this is the target. This is what we're working on. And guess what? When I started on this journey for this, it's a lease. Okay, I lease my cars. I've leased my cars. I've had brand new cars since 2007. Before that, I had a mental block, and the block was the conditioning that I got when I was a kid that you only buy a good used car. Because why? Because they lose money the minute you drive it off the lot, right? Never go to a dealer to get maintenance. No, go to the shop down the street, or I know somebody, and yeah, he does mechanical work. Yeah, go with him. It's cheaper than the dealer. If you go cheap, you get cheap. If you go cheap, you live cheap. If you live cheap, you die cheap. And then what? God brought you into this world for abundance, to enjoy, to have a full life. Yes, there's extenuating circumstances out here, but the kingdom is in here. Okay? And this is why it says, right? Holy Scripture said in the Bible, anyway, Okay, I'm not here to tell you what to believe, but I'm just saying, okay? It says, seek first the kingdom and all else would be added unto you. Okay, so all else wasn't being added unto me before 2007. I had used cars, and then the used cars started to rebuild themselves, and they came with big bills and overhauled transmissions, and I mean, it was crazy. It was crazy. So you can do all of those things and go through all of those stresses and, right? Or you can just ignore the amount that you lose when you drive off the lot. You think I've paid attention to any of that? No, none of it. Since 2007. If I was bankrupt, I wouldn't be here. Okay, so nothing bad happened. Okay, and when you commit to something, okay, because this happens in your mind, okay, it's your 3 states of awareness, your conscious, subconscious, superconscious. When you commit to something, your subconscious knows you've committed. And what does it do? It brings you, right? It brings you avenues to enforce the commitment. In other words, you sign for a house, okay? Think about how many people change jobs while they have a house. So you sign for the house, right? You get the house, 30-year mortgage. 30 years is a long time. A lot of people change jobs. They get another job, they get a better job, they get a higher paying job, they get, right? They progress, right? But they're not afraid to sign for the house. And when they sign for the house, it starts coming. Money starts coming to support the house. Because that's the commitment in the subconscious. That's the belief in the subconscious. I signed for 30 years. I'm going to satisfy this agreement. That's the understanding. That's the belief. And the subconscious starts looking for things to support it. Now, if you're focused on, oh, this is the bad part. This is the bad part. Yeah, but this is the bad part. Okay, focus on that. You'll continue to get lack. You'll continue to suffer. You'll continue to get drama and rebuild your cars and whatever. So the way it works with a car, right? The belief in the subconscious is, okay, new car, right? And the subconscious goes, oh, we're working on a new car? Okay. Well, maybe you should get a side hustle. Well, maybe you should get a promotion. In order to get a promotion, you have to get a degree. So why don't you get a degree? Why don't you go back to school, get a degree, and then, whatever it is. But your subconscious will do that. Okay, now, the superconscious, or God, okay, God fits in the category of superconscious. Whoever your God is, whoever you think your higher power is, higher self, infinite intelligence. So that says, go down and test drive today. You get that? Right? I was on the freeway when I got the idea to pull in to this Infinity dealership. And if you guys are on my Facebook account, Jay, you can put up my Facebook address for the people. If you go to my Facebook account and you go into photo albums and you see there's a bunch of new cars and like that, and I put them there so that people understand how to do this, so people know that this is real. Okay. Because once I did the first one, I was like, whoa, I can't believe it. Because it was amazing. It was amazing. I can't tell you how many used cars I had before that one. But since 2007, it's been all brand new cars. And the only thing that I really focus on, I don't focus on new car anymore. I focus on new car smell. Because then I don't have to focus on the new car. I get in my car, yep, still there. Since 2007, okay? So it becomes a lifestyle. So abundance becomes a lifestyle. And let's say it a different way. Positive thinking becomes a lifestyle. Abundant thinking becomes a lifestyle. But you got to get rid of the limitations, okay? And the limitations start when we're very, very young. From the time you're born to the time you're 7 years old, whatever anybody tells you, becomes your paradigm. Okay, part of your paradigm. You know, don't go near the stove, you get burned. Don't go by the road, you get hit by a car. Like all these little things. Okay, and that, I'm just giving you examples, but there's so many more, right? And those form limitations. And what do you have to do? At a certain age, you have to grow up. And when I say grow up, I mean up and out of those old beliefs that don't serve you anymore. They're together. And they form new pathways. They're together. And they form new pathways. And the more you focus on your direction and how you're going to go and what you're going to do, okay, it becomes a habit because the subconscious learns in repetition and then it repeats it for you. And when you form the neural pathways, the new neural pathways, okay, versus the old way of thinking, versus the way you used to do things, okay, because the definition of insanity, right? You're doing the same things the same way, expecting better results. It will not happen. It cannot happen. Okay? That's whipping a dead horse. Speaking of horses, Henry Ford once said, if I would have asked people what they wanted, they would have said faster horses. He built a Model T. So it's about how you see things. It's about how you think. It's about your imagination and how you use it. The problem is, right, we get to a certain point in life, right, probably intermediate school, okay, where we face the realization, hey, we're moving into, you know, teenage years. We're moving, oh, we're going to be a teen. Oh, we have to be cool. We have to be cool. Can't use that imagination anymore. Got to leave it behind. And what do people tell you? Well, that's immature thinking. You can't think like that anymore. You have to be mature. You have to grow up. You have to act like a grown-up. I made tons of money acting like a kid. Why? Because I never let it go. Okay? So, oh, let me explain. I was a voice actor. I was a voice actor and I did a character. And that character just went through the roof. But if I let go of my imagination, if I just said, well, that's immature, I would have never been able to do that in public. But it was funny. People laughed at it. Okay. I had to channel. So I had to channel through my subconscious. It's not demons or anything like that. But I had to channel through my subconscious people that I knew in my childhood that I thought were funny. And I channeled that. And I wasn't afraid to mimic things and voices and things like that. So when I was a kid, I did it when I was 10. You know, the funny thing is, I invited my mom when I did my Waikiki show. My father wasn't alive, but my mom, I invited her, and she came. And, you know, I asked her, I said, well, what do you think of my voices? What do you think of the voices? Because I thought they got better, right? And a typical mom's response, right? She goes, you were doing that when you were 10. Anyway, right? So I thought I would get a, you know, realistic kind of thing like, well, this one was better, that one was not too good, this other one was okay, this one was better, that kind of thing, okay? So, but yeah, so I was doing it at 10. But I had to bring it from 10 to 13 to 16 to 18 to 25 to 35 to 45, right? At least till 40, and that's when that started. And then when I finally did it at 40, I'm like, okay, and me and this other guy manufactured this character. And we did it in real time, live on the radio, and we manufactured the thing step by step by step by step. It took a week. And in 1 week, we had the character, and that character lasted for 15 years. And that built my companies, and that opened doors for other things. So what I'm really here to tell you is trust your crazy ideas, okay? You know those thoughts you get? Like, oh, maybe I should do this. Maybe I should do that. Trust that. That's God talking to you. That's your intuition. Trust it. Take the steps towards it. Don't be afraid of it. Because chances are it'll be big, right? You know, you'll get the big picture. Like, oh, maybe you should start a company and sell widgets. And you go, whoa, geez, that's a lot of things are involved in selling widgets, right? But as you take the steps, the superconscious, God, okay, knows what's in the topic, okay, widgets, in the subconscious, and starts opening the doors. And then you meet a widget manufacturer, and then you meet somebody who works for a widget warehouse, whatever. And the right people come into play, and the doors begin to open, and then you start having a good life. Why? Because Jesus sits at the right hand of the Father. You cast your net to the right side for abundance. The journey of Moses, okay, it's not about people being lost in the desert. It's about crossing over from the left brain to the right brain, to creation, okay? Where God is on the right hemisphere of the brain. Creativity, imagination, oneness, okay? Bonding, okay? Like this, okay? What is the other side? Well, the other side is logic. You need that. But logic rationalizes you out of your dreams. Okay, logic is good if you've grown up with logic, you had a direction you're going to go to. Like, okay, in high school, like, okay, I want to study law, I want to be a lawyer. Okay, so and then you go to college, and then you go right, and you go to law school, and you come out, and then you go into the job, and then you continue on the left side, and the left side will serve you. And you'll end up serving the system. Now, some things you end up serving the system, and some things you don't. Some people don't want to be serving the system. Okay, and you don't have to serve the system. You can be in the system and not of the system. Christians have a saying, and we say you can be in the world and not of the world. The physical world, the material world. Okay, because there's a separation between the body and the spirit. The spirit's in here. You're not your body. You're not your name. You're that energy that lives in here, that spirit that lives in here. That's what attracts everything to you. When you eliminate all the negative emotions, the negative thinking, the logic thinking that says, oh, you need to do this, you need to do that. No, be open. Be open. Be open and ask God, okay, where do I fit? Where do I go? What do I do? You'd be surprised what happens. You know, God will go, no, you go over here. And then you try to go over here. God goes, no, you go back over here. And then you start realizing that, you know, life only works really, really well when I'm over here, right? Okay. That's because you found your purpose. So you go with your purpose. You go with what you were meant to do. You go with who you were meant to be. How do you find that? Write it down. Okay. Say, if you're religious, say a prayer. Okay. Meditate. Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization all day long. What happens in meditation? In meditation, you will receive guidance. You don't have to chant. You don't have to say words you don't understand. You just have to be still. When you're still, and I want to say you probably have to do it for about a week or 2 weeks, 10 minutes a day, you will start receiving divine guidance. You will get ideas. Okay, so this is the superconscious giving intuitive thought to the subconscious. It's the same thing. And what happens? Well, then you'll get these ideas. All you have to do is follow through with these ideas. You don't need to know how. The how is God's job. What do you need to do? Well, maybe you get the feeling that you should be a baker because maybe you love to bake. How do I do it for business? I don't have money to build a bakery. Okay. Then you get the intuitive thought. Well, maybe you can rent there's a commercial kitchen. I can rent that. And then I can just take it around to little stores, and I could make agreements with the little stores, and then they would sell my baked goods for me. There's a million ways to do things. Okay. So you can live life your way, or you can live life the way you were told to live life. Okay, some people regret that. Some people are in careers that make a lot of money that come to me and talk to me about that, and they go, "Wow, I was just afraid. I've been, one girl that was an attorney, she told me, she said, my whole career," and she had an outstanding career, a stellar career. She was a giant. She is a giant. She's a huge, powerful attorney. And she said, my whole career I've been operating out of fear because I didn't want to be poor. So I've been pushing. And she rose up the mountain. She got up the ladder. All of those things, She got up there to the top of the hill. She's at the top of her game now. But now she has understanding. Now she understands the other side. Now she knows she doesn't have to push. Now she understands that she can relax into it. She can operate from flow state, and everything comes to her. Why? Because it's about ease. If you live a very hard life, okay? Let's say you live hard like this, okay? You push, that kind of thing, right? I'm going to make life go over here. Then I'm going to make it go over here like this, okay? When you make a mistake, guess what the mistake consequences are going to look like? They're going to look like this, okay? If you take baby steps through life, no matter what you do, it doesn't matter what you do, okay? If you take baby steps, in other words, gentle steps towards things, okay? When you make a mistake, because you will make a mistake. I make mistakes every week, okay, right here. I make tons of mistakes. I'm not here because I'm perfect. I'm here because I understand and I'm teaching. But when you make a mistake and you just kind of, it's kind of like testing the water in a swimming pool. You stick your toe in to see if it's too cold. Oop, too cold, not going to jump in. Okay? The type A personality just jumps in, and then they deal with the cold. Okay? But you just try, just test. Oop, too cold. Okay, go in another direction. Not going to jump in the pool today. Going to do something else. Your corrections are gentle. Okay? Because what you give is what you receive. The way you give is the way you receive. If you're critical, you're going to get criticism. Why is that? It works through your subconscious. Your subconscious is aware of all of your actions. Everything you do, it's your book of life. When you're critical, you get criticism back. Okay? If you have gotten a lot of criticism, that can make you critical. Because why? Because the topic is critical. Okay? People criticize you all the time, you learn to criticize. Then you start criticizing too. When you start criticizing, your subconscious goes, oh, we're critical now? Oh, okay. And then you're critical of everything. A lot of people that have had critical supervisors that have been on them, very critical, okay, they end up critical when they become supervisors because they're working their way up. So humans are very conducive to their environment. We fit in. We just mold right in there. And this is why they tell you, right? Show me your 5 closest friends and I'll tell you who you are. It's easy. The universal law of correspondence says, whatever's in here is shown out here. So whatever you take in here, in the kingdom, okay, and you form that as your structure, you form that as your habits, you form that as your way of doing things, and you learn something and then you do it that way. Now, when it comes out here, it's going to come out the same way. So you can learn something from someone, let's say, in a strict environment, in a critical environment, in a harsh environment. But then you can take that data, you can take that information, and you can incorporate empathy. You can incorporate generosity. You can incorporate your heart, okay? Kindness. And you can incorporate it and teach it that way, because you don't have to take it out on somebody the way it came to you. I was in a very, very toxic work environment once. And there was this thing between me and my manager, right? This was years and years ago, back in the 90s. And I was wondering, why is this guy so harsh on me? Why is this guy so unforgiving? He was relentless, like no matter what, like everything was bam, 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 like harsh. Okay. When we weren't working, he was okay. During working hours, this guy was like, yeah, it was extreme, right? And I was wondering why. And one day I was clearing out the office closet in the back of the office. There was this storeroom, and I was organizing it, and I was cleaning it out, and I found a letter that was from the owner to that guy when he was a sales manager. Now he was a general manager for me, right? But when he was a sales manager, and I read the letter, and I'm like, oh my God, no wonder he's like that. That letter berated him. That letter made him feel small. It made me feel small. It wasn't even to me. Okay? But when I read the letter, I understood. I was like, oh, this is how he came up. You see? This is how he had it. Okay? So this owner took it out on him. And now he is in a management position. And now he's taking it out on me. But I'm here to tell you that you don't have to do that. You don't have to be like that, okay? You can take the knowledge, even if someone is hard on you, even if someone is relentless and, you think they're unforgiving, that kind of person, right? Hard, okay? But they're teachers. And then you can integrate compassion. Then you can integrate kindness, generosity, love, and you can teach it in a good way. And that's what I do with my students now. I've learned a lot. I learned a lot from him in a very harsh manner, in a very harsh way. And a lot of the things that I learned from him as a manager, right, that he taught me, I use in my personal businesses, and it has made me a lot of money since the 90s. Okay. But I had to learn some hard lessons the hard way. Okay. But you get judged for your heart. Okay. Saint Catherine of Siena said, you are rewarded not according to your work or your time, but according to the measure of your love. Okay, she was talking about intention. Okay, the intent. How do you mean this? Where are you coming from? Are you coming from harshness, or are you coming from love? Are you coming from a good place? Do you have a good heart, or are you coming from just being brutal for the sake of being brutal? Right? Because it happened to you. So, and this is why it's important. When you're raising children, it's important. right? Because the way you are with them, that's the way they're going to be with their children. Okay? Unless they break the cycle. Okay. Mansa. Mansa Habib. If a person knows that your circle isn't great, what can you do if you can't find good friends? Keep looking. Be open. You will attract good friends. You will attract people according to who you are inside. Okay? If you have people that aren't good around you, there's a reason, and the reason is in you. You have to look inside. Okay? There's something in here that you have to change. Okay? Because you're attracting people for the wrong reason. True, but just because he has, that doesn't mean it's okay for you to get it. I don't know what you mean. What are we talking about, Kana? What are we talking about? Explain. So anyway, what I'm saying is, right? It doesn't matter how you accumulate your knowledge. It doesn't matter how you accumulate your experience. You can get it in a harsh way. You can get it in a nice way. You can get it in a loving way. But when you give it, you will be judged for it. When you give it, it's important to remember your heart. To do it with good intentions. It's all about intent, okay? So, how do you get rewarded? Well, with the things that come to you, with the condition of your life. This is the universal law of correspondence. Look around you. Are things nice and orderly and clean and abundant and, right, easy? Or is life hard? If life is hard, there's something in here that's making your life hard. There's intentions in here that are making life hard. So if you're living a reactionary life, okay, when things get hard for you, when somebody makes things hard for you, or let's say there's conditions that are tough, because I've had some tough jobs. I've had some tough circumstances, okay, that I had to deal with. And as I changed in here, everything started to get easy. Everything started to flow. Was there still a lot of work? Yeah, of course. I did a lot of work, but I was working a different way. Okay, different intent. So when you see something in someone else that you don't like, it's a reflection of what's in here. Okay, so figure it out. Just observe. Observe. Well, I don't like the way he uses sarcasm. Okay, are you sarcastic? Ah, you're sarcastic. Oh, okay. And you don't like it. See? So what do? Just change your sarcasm. That's all. Just soften it a bit. Ease up a bit. Be a little bit more gentle. Okay? So it doesn't matter. Is somebody sassy? Oh, maybe there's a part of you that's sassy. Maybe it's not a lot. Maybe it's just a little bit. But then you see it in somebody else and you go, I don't like that. Because that's the part that you don't like about yourself. And all you need to do is fix it, address it. Number one, accept it. Number two, take a step to get rid of it. Write an affirmation. Okay? Instead of sassy, write the opposite. I am so happy and grateful now that I am easygoing, accepting, and loving. Thank you. There you go. That's the opposite of sassy. A lot of times people get mistreated and then they turn around and mistreat people. And what excuse do they use? They go, well, I learned it that way. Right? When they're teaching somebody something, right? I learned it that way. So they learned it hard. So they're going to teach it hard because they learned it hard. That doesn't make sense. It's over. It's in the past. It's gone. You can't bring it back. You can't change what happened is what I'm saying. Okay, leave that in the past. Now, when you bring it forward, okay, because you're bringing the good parts forward, you're bringing the knowledge forward. Okay, if you're in a company and let's say you're climbing the ladder, so to speak, and you learn how to do something, but your supervisor was a real a-hole, but now you're the supervisor because you got promoted. You don't have to be an a-hole to teach it. Okay, you can be nice and kind and just change the future, change it, be the change you want to see in the world. Okay, because why? Because you would have wanted somebody to do it the way you do it with a good heart, right? You didn't get that though. You got it the way you got it, right? And in my case, right, there was somebody that was really mean to my manager. And then when I came in to the company, my manager was really mean to me. You know, was it my fault? No. But it came down the pipe that way. I didn't get promoted or seek to get promoted, or I wasn't going in that direction. I resigned from the company, but I'm just saying, the information that I got, the training that I got, all of the instruction that I got, I used for my companies, and it was very, very valuable. And today, I like the guy. Today, I'm grateful for the guy. In fact, I thanked him many times. Every time I see him, I thank him. He was a hard teacher, but there was a reason. So when I read that letter, I go, oh, okay, it's not me. It's not me that upset him. It's not me that did this. It's the way he learned it. It's the way he knows. It came down that way. So sometimes coming down in families, generations, okay? You get the hard lessons from your grandparents or whatever, your parents to your parents give you whatever, tough love, whatever. It's up to you. Do you want to put this into your children? Or do you want to stop the generational nonsense? You know, when I had my son, I swore I wasn't going to abuse my son. I wasn't going to give him spankings. And I cut it off. Okay. He didn't get it from me. He got it from the other side of his family, didn't get it from me. But there was a lot of personal restraint and a lot of discipline and a lot of soul searching and, you know, like, hey, I cannot let this happen one more generation. I cannot allow this. I can't allow it forward. Not from me. I'm not going to contribute to this. And that's the way it happened. Okay, so Jay, did we get that follow-up with no? I just have true, but just because he has doesn't mean it's okay for you to get it. I don't know what that means, Kana. If you wanna, okay, we're out of time though. No? Okay, thank you, Jay. So we're out of time, okay? But just know, okay? You're not rewarded in life from God. God does not reward you in life for the kind of work you do, your good works, okay? Or for your time spent doing good works. God rewards you according to your heart. God knows your heart, okay? Or let's say it another way. God knows your subconscious, okay? Because the superconscious reacts to your subconscious, okay? And those are the 3 states of awareness. How can I keep my self-esteem higher? Oh, okay. You need to, yeah, I have, you're very welcome, Addie. You're very welcome. Okay, so Nurse Quarteng, okay, send me a message. Yeah, send me a message. I'll answer your question. I'll address it. Just send it, just message me with that question. And I'll tell you how. It's easy. It's not hard. It's not difficult. Okay, it's not difficult to feel good about yourself, okay? You just have to change your thinking, change your mind, change your life. Okay, tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. again, we will do this. We're on several platforms. We're going to let go of our international streaming right now. And so we